Hi there, what is good? Welcome to this video. Let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Lorenzo and I am a software developer. I have been a software developer for I think 4 to 5 years now, professionally, and I've decided I currently have a pretty decent paying job as a freelance software developer, but I decided perhaps I could do something on the side because I do have time in the evenings now. It's winter time, so there's not much to do. And I decided perhaps I can start creating some kind of side hustle. And that side hustle, of course, as you can see from the title and what's on my screen right now, is going to be AI. I think a lot of you guys have the same idea of starting a AI business, AI agency, whatever it is, but you might have difficulties to actually decide where you should start. And I have the same thing. And that is why I decided let's also track this entire journey for everyone to see, which is going to be this video. And going to be the series and going to be the YouTube channel. So I'm going to try and build my AI passive income business from scratch. And I'm going to share each and every single step that I take with you guys. So you have the entire process, the journey. I do have some experiences in building businesses and just sales and communication basically, because I've always done this. But as for AI, the only thing I really know is how to use ChatGPT. And yeah, I think it would be nice for you to see the point of view from a software developer. But anyway, without further ado, let's actually get into the AI plan that I have right here. So I currently am sharing the screen of my tablet where I'm going to be taking notes on. And in this particular video, the main focus is going to be studying. I'm new to AI. I need to study. Let's take a look at what the space looks like. What do we have available? What's competitive? What's saturated? What's not saturated? Then we're going to do some market analysis. So kind of the same, getting a feel for what's there. And then just seeing how are other people doing it mainly. So I'm going to look at people who have successful businesses in the same space and then try to see how do they tackle putting together an AI business. How did they start? How did they get their customers? What's their target audience? Then it's going to be time for me to decide what is my business going to be about. I know it's going to be in the AI space. I know that the train has already departed from the station, but that doesn't mean that if I run behind it fast enough that I can still jump on board and slowly crawl my way to the front of the train, so to speak. And basically make something off of that, So I'm going to decide what I'm going to be building, what different options there are, what viable business models there are. Then as soon as I know what kind of AI I'm going to be building, I'm going to have to try and find out what is going to be my market. So am I going to be building a software as a service? Am I going to do so by selling to businesses? Am I going to be selling to commercial users? Those are all going to be very important decisions. Usually, in my experience, I personally like to deal with business-to-business applications a lot more, because if you're going to be selling to commercial users, they are always going to be expect a very polished product. Well, if you actually sell to businesses, the product doesn't have to be polished. It just needs to be functional. And then it's going to be time to network. And by the way, my apologies for my writing. I think there are probably toddlers who can write better than I do. I'm a software developer, I don't really write ever. Next up is going to be building a network. So building a network, what does that mean? How am I going to be able to sell to people? If I want to do business to business, how am I going to get in touch with these businesses? And how am I going to present my product to them? So that's something we're also going to have to decide and work on. And then, of course, it's going to be time to actually deploy and release our first product, whatever that is going to be. So in this video, I'm going to try and tackle as much of what I outlined here as possible. If I cannot squeeze it all into one video, I will upload a part 2. But this is going to be a series anyway. I don't expect that I'm going to have my first product built in this video. But I'm going to work on some proof of concept. You guys can follow along and basically see how I tackle everything. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start with step 1 and step 2 already. I'm going to do that in silence. I'm going to record myself. And then later, as soon as I did the studying of the different AI technologies that are currently openly available for startups, as well as doing the market analysis, I'm going to do all of that with YouTube videos, with articles. I'm going to probably do that for the next hour. And as soon as I did that, I will come back to you with a summary.
A few moments later.
Alrighty, so it's been a few hours and I did a straight session of investigating everything and studying everything. And I must say that I'm kind of underwhelmed. When I thought about the AI space and AI businesses, I really expected megalodons and I really expected super complex implementations. But if I look around and I look at all the people that are really succeeding, it's all very basic stuff, actually. And I don't mean basic as in overly simple, not in that sense, but I do want to highlight that it's not an intimidating sector at all. What I first want to do is go over the. I studied AI now for 2 to 3 hours, so you do not have to. And I will boil it down to all the notes that I thought were relevant. It's very possible that you cannot read my handwriting, which I do apologize. Like I said, there are probably toddlers who write better than me. I'm used to typing on a keyboard. So my notes start. With AI, you do not need any skills to get started. So anyone can basically get into AI. You could be, because a lot of software engineers like myself, they think, oh, I need to get into AI and I need software skills to do that. In essence, you do not, because you can basically use no code, low code, or custom code implementation. So if you're a software developer, you might want to leverage those skills to outcompete around like 90% of people in the space who do not have coding skills. Overall, you do not need to be a developer in order to leverage AI skills. If you want to jump on AI right now, you can do it with no code or low code and use third-party tools that are available to you. So I think in the future, less and less custom development is going to be needed to create very complex applications. If you want to create an AI business, it doesn't really matter how much time per day you want to invest in it. Of course, it's very logical. The more you put in, the more you'll get out of it. But it could be that you just develop a very simple business model. And with this very simple business model, you just have your initial setup, which is going to be a few weeks of work. And then maintenance-wise, it could be an hour a day. And you could be looking at a service that generates $200 to $1,000 a month, which is already pretty nice as a side income, right? If you really go hard on AI, meaning that you invest at least 4 hours a day, from what I've seen results wise, and I've also communicated with ChatGPT here, is that you can, within the first year, depending on your business model, expect anywhere from 20 to 50K per month if you go all in for 1 year. So if you really fine tune and become an expert in the AI space, you could make anywhere from 20 to 50K. Now, it could be more, it could also be less, depending on what you choose and the path you take and the input you give it. You also have to keep in mind, which is something that became very apparent to me very early on into those videos and the article, is that right now is a very good opportunity to actually get into AI. It is not difficult. AI is still maturing, right? So it is definitely not too late to jump in, because if you look back a few months ago, AI was nowhere near as where it is right now. And we can actually see that exponential growth in the AI space, which we can still leverage. We can still jump on board of that exponential growth and be part of it ourselves. Summed up all the sectors with all of their groups within them. So first you have AI consultancy. AI consultancy is basically where you set appointments with people and you advise them. You can do this on an hourly basis or half an hour basis and charge people for that. So an average AI consultant right now charges anywhere from $200 up to the $1,000 mark an hour. And that is as a starter. So if you really can provide value to businesses, you are going to be able to make quite a bit of money as a starter in AI. And this is also something that you can, of course, combine with another business model. You can also have an AI education business. So an example would be you create a YouTube channel where you're going to educate people on AI, and all in the process educating those consumers, making that your value for their money and their time, which is basically money, right? And when you do this, you can then also, because you're going to attract a network, probably sell some consultancy stuff. So these people, they create online education, and based on that education, a company picks up on what they're doing and they're like, hey, could you take a look at my business and potentially tell me where I can integrate AI to automate certain processes? And that is basically, these two to me go hand in hand, but of course you can implement AI consultant. I think these two are not going to be for the people who are looking to do this passively next to that job who only have an hour or 2 hours a day to invest into building a business. So if that's you, if you only have an hour available per day, I would say do not go for 1 and 2. But if you do have more time on your hands and you're looking to actually make this your active and main income, then you could for sure look into these two types of businesses. And then there's point 3, which is an AI agency. So an AI agency, also called an AI automation agency. A lot of videos speak about this specific business model. It's basically where you go to small or medium-sized businesses and you look at their processes and you basically tell them, hey, I can automate certain processes. So you look at certain businesses, you pick a niche, you solve their issues, and then you just keep on repeating this process. You will get calls. Let's say a accountancy company comes to you. We are doing balance reviews at the end of the year. It's a very tedious process with a lot of patterns. Could we potentially have AI automated for us? You could then say, yes, I can into this for you. You could first do the investigation, you charge money for the investigation, and then you actually do the implementation. And this is very scalable, as you can already see. You could outsource this, you could do this yourself, and yeah, scale that tremendously. It also doesn't have to be anything complex. For example, go ahead and work with a news outlet. They say, yeah, we want to have some sort of AI that optimizes our articles. So we want someone from the club or someone from the news outlet to write an article really quickly with all the key information, and we want AI to automatically optimize that for us using certain standards, using a data set and ways we usually communicate to people, which works for us. So it can be very complex tasks. It can also be very tiny, simple things that you do for businesses. And again, this is going to be, you go to a business, you analyze an issue, you fix the issue, automate it, and you're done. Then there is going to be the software as a service. And what is the software as a service going to be? This could be, I want to receive the latest news updates on coding, and then you could create a AI agent that basically fetches all of these news articles and latest highlights and just passes it on to them. You do need to keep in mind that you're going to need a big upfront investment, and that's basically what I said in the beginning of the video. So if you're going to work on a SaaS project, you're going to first need to have a problem analyzed. You're going to already need to have a solution worked out, and only then can you start making money. So while the software as a service business model is going to probably be the best money for your time, in the long run, it's probably very possible that in the beginning, you're going to invest a lot of time and money without too much of a return. So this is a very dangerous one to do. And I would say establish yourself in AI decently first, or do some AI agency stuff on a small scale and then identify, look, hey, in this certain sector, a lot of people are coming to me with problem A and I always have solution B. So why not create a software as a service for that instead of selling it to them, I could rent it out to them, that solution, and continuously optimize that. And even when you transfer from, let's say you build a custom solution for a certain company or a certain consumer base, you can then say, look, I'm going to turn that into a software as a service, go back to them, say, look, I have a majorly optimized version, which is going to save you a lot more time and is going to make you a lot more money. You could then use that client database that you have there to actually, generate sales, generate leads. So I think this one, point 3 and then point 4, which is going to be the AI agency or the AI automation agency, goes hand in hand with the bigger picture model, where you can start off really small, and then from the moment everything starts taking traction, you can then actually start thinking of migrating to, let's say, AI full-time and going with a software as a service event. And then point 5 is actually going to be something in between that, and that is going to be AI freelancing. So what is that going to be? You are likely going to go to recruitment agencies, headhunters. You're going to say, look, I am in the market for being an AI freelancer. This is my tech stack. Look for projects that I can work on. And this would be a great route if you right now do not feel very comfortable yet. This is going to help you tremendously because you do not need any sales skills. You do not need a network. You can gain a lot of experience. The things you will learn here are probably going to benefit you for all of the above things. So none of these models are worse or better or anything than the other. We need to keep that in mind. It's all going to depend. How much time do you have on your hands? How serious are you about this? Overall, if we go to the different categories of AI business models that we have right now, if you have limited time on your hand, try to opt for either 0.3, scaling to 0.4, or look at 0.5 and do some AI freelancing in your free evening if you work part-time, that's also very possible. So limited time and good output over time is going to be 3 to 4. And then if you have a lot of time on your hands and you want to grow as fast as possible, my strategy would be go into the educational space, which will then land you consultancy calls, which will then, of course, give you an appropriate cash flow, which will allow you to go every single direction. This also means that you are not tied to a product because, in my opinion, it's going to be very risky to create a software as a service with a certain AI technology right now and then seeing a new AI technology come out, because we see new ones pop up all the time, and basically lose all of your leverage with that software as a service company. If you do AI agency, you get new projects all the time, right? So you still have your backup. That's why I say combine 3 and 4. But if you have a lot of time on hands, focus on building a brand, doing some education, doing some socials, doing some consulting, which is always going to be viable for you to gain an income, but also stay up to date with all the latest trends that are coming along. If you're passionate as a AI consultant, you are going to make very decent amounts of money. You can really order your days the way you like, because let's say you do 10 1-hour calls in a single month, you would be making 10K off of that. I mean, I think 10K a month is going to be very interesting for a lot of people already. I also have some observations. So my first few observations were the fact that there is very limited information available. So AI is still very, very small, and you can see this. There are not a lot of businesses, big businesses, completely built on AI. Not right now, at least. What you do, however, see are businesses integrating AI into their processes, which I will touch upon in just a minute. What I also noticed is that there is very limited competition in the AI space. So if you can simply find a problem and come up with a solution, there is a very big chance that this specific problem has not been solved yet, which is something that is very, very rare these days. Because people always told me, whatever you can think of, someone already thought of, right? And right now in the AI space, this is far from the truth. The thing is, AI is so young, and a lot of people are so intimidated by it, and there are no big financial risks taken into this specific sector, that you have very limited competition. So just look at what you're doing right now. What are you doing on a daily basis that you lose time on? Or the business that you work with, what do they lose time on right now? And try to come up with a solution for that. The chances are that you are not going to have either any competition or a lot. You either are not going to have a lot of competition, or you might not even have any competition at all. So that is very, very interesting. You should for sure look into that. And the competition that is there is all services that are very basic. What do I mean? They're all either one of these 3 things, I have noticed. And perhaps this is like the main use case for things, but I do see some other decent opportunities that I could myself approach. They're all simple chatbots, all generic chatbots that are being sold to multiple companies. And the custom ones, they are just the foundation with a different data set. All of these AI businesses that are successful and big, they are all building on top of existing services that they already have. People call it AI, but it just removed that repetitive bit of a feature from a certain problem and try to solve it that way with something that they already had, and they just applied AI to solve the issue more efficiently and give a nice user experience. Some other notes that I wrote down that are very important to me are that customers do not care about your tech stack. So even if you're a developer, if you have identified a problem and want to create a solution for that specific problem, Customers do not care whether you custom coded it or reuse some foundational technology that is open source or super cheap. They do not care. So try to do what is the most feasible, what is going to make you the most money, what is going to be the most interesting in the long run. If you're going to do custom coding and it takes you 100 days compared to you reuse an open source application or let's call it a Zapier type of application and basically spit it out in 2 hours and make the same amount of money, then yes, I would say go for the Zapier solution. If you're looking for more robust, future-proof kind of implementations, of course, you're going to have to look at that custom coded stuff. Customers do not care about the tech, they care about the solution and the quality of the solution. How it's built, what it uses, it doesn't matter. You have to keep in mind that where AI shines is going to be in pattern-based work. If it is not pattern-based work, you can almost ensure that yourself that AI is likely not ready for the task yet. So if it is a task that is not repetitive, that does not have a consistent output, where a lot of additional parameters are being set, it's either not going to be worth it doing it with the AI or it's going to be very difficult. And if I can give you one piece of advice when getting into AI, and that is something that I'm going to do as well, is combine AI with your current skills. For example, I am a software developer, so I'm going to try and leverage my software development skills to try and produce AI solution. I'm not going to solely build AI. I am going to build AI on top of strong foundational applications or something that aligns with my skill. Something else that I see a lot of people talk about and is actually something that is, for some people, very relevant, is to look for a partner, a co-founder, right? So tackling, if you're new to AI, if you're new to the tech space, it's going to be very intimidating to tackle all of these things. You're going to have to look for customers. You're going to have to build a brand. You're going to have to take care of socials, video editing, meetings. It's very rare that you will be very good at all of these things. But if you can find yourself a co-founder or someone who wants to run a startup together with you or even spare some free time, you could most likely get a lot more done and also gain immediate expertise in different fields, because a buddy of yours might be a very good talker, so he can actually set meetings with customers, have those meetings, and possibly do sales while you actually focus on the core building. So this is something that is for sure interesting if the whole thing intimidates. A main conclusion here would be it is a perfect time to actually get into AI. And I do mean a perfect time. You are not too late. You are just in time. And if you can find simple problems and find simple solutions to those simple problems, you are already going to be making a lot of money. It is not difficult to make money in this space because there are not a lot of solutions available. And that basically concludes the notes that I made for this video. And in the next video, I will lay out the plan that I currently have for what I think I'm going to do, and I'm going to work it out based on the steps that I created here in the first page of the note. I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope you can relate with me on certain topics that I discussed, because just like you, I am just getting started in this AI space. It's super overwhelming, but we're going to tackle it one step at a time. I'm going to share everything with you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I hope this video helped you somehow, and if it did, I would appreciate you leaving a comment telling me how it helped you or how I could improve. And I would, of course, appreciate you subscribing so you can actually help me build my network. That would be super awesome if we could network. Possibly when you're watching this video, I might have next videos available already, so make sure to check that out. And other than that, I wish you a very pleasant rest of your day. Bye-bye. Take care.